The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you, we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Today's show, and it's always the last Friday of the month at 2 o'clock Eastern time, has been with us for about 10 years. And I have so much respect for this company, Taxation Solutions. They have been so fair with people who come to them, because when you've got a tax problem, it is a big burden on your shoulder. And to have somebody out there who is going to help you to level the playing field and help get you through your tax problems, I totally, if there is a such thing, endorse our next expert, Barry Fowler, Taxation Solutions.
Hey, Steve, how are you today?
You know what? When I can give an opening like that, I'm doing well, and I truly mean it from the heart, Barry, because I've learned over the years with you that you really do care about people. You really do care about their problem, and they could not have anybody more experienced in tax relief than Taxation Solutions.
You know, Steve, well, we've been doing this a very long time, fighting against the IRS, and it's something I enjoy. It's the good fight, as you may call it, helping everyday taxpayers out there get this weight off their shoulders. You know, we call it the monkey on their back, and we have our own nice tax debt monkey that we have on our websites and stuff. But, it's getting that monkey, getting that weight that just weighs the family down, off your shoulders to be able to get back to, living your life, doing the things without having to, watch what's going on in your bank account, or maybe with your wages, or maybe even in your small business that you're running, or even a large business that you're running that maybe run afoul of having some tax debt, and get that stress away, and just to be able to kind of relax. And if you're relaxed, you're going to have a better family relationship. Sometimes people call us the counselors because we're able to help the families, recover from the stress of the debt of dealing with the IRS. And it brings me no pleasure than to hear somebody or see somebody with the biggest smile on their face, knowing that, hey, we either settled their debt, got rid of some of their penalties, got them on a payment plan that they can afford. Many things that we do for them, it just really can help the families out.
Barry, I got to tell you, I haven't told you this before, but I think about you on a regular basis because it seems like every day we hear on the news how this administration is hiring 85, 90,000 new agents. And listen, the more our taxes go up, the more they're going after people to try to get that money. And from everything I hear, they are really going after people who haven't filed or paid their taxes. And the first thing I think about is if they only had Taxation Solutions to help them because you really know this business.
Steve, it is true. They've been, over the last few years hiring more and more agents, and agents that don't know all the rules and regulations that they've got to file from the Internal Revenue Manual. They have policies and procedures they have to file, and it really helps to have somebody on your side fighting for you against these guys that, we talk about it all the time. The IRS thinks everything is theirs, and that's why they put it together. The IRS and everything's theirs. If you put those two words together, it's theirs. We laugh about it, but it's very serious. When, maybe you haven't filed, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter what the reasons are. You haven't filed. We need to get those returns filed before they file them for you, because they're going to do what they call substitute for returns. And they don't do it in the interest of you, the taxpayer, because they have no interest in you. They only have interest in your money. They're going to do it at their leisure, and then they're going to do it for themselves. So for the IRS, so meaning all the deductions that you should have gotten, they're not going to give you. They don't go hunting for all the expenses that you can write off in your consulting business or your self-employment. They don't go looking to put every one of your kids on your tax return. Matter of fact, sometimes they just file them single and no deductions, and then you're left with this huge tax debt. Those are things we go in and fix, and we work with you to put the tax debt to the right amount. Just because the IRS says, hey, you owe 50 or 75,000, whatever the amount may be, doesn't make them right. It just makes them going after that amount to collect, plus penalties and interest and everything else that mount on top of it. So we want to make sure that if you do have to pay the IRS back, you're going to pay the amount that you actually owe, not the amount that they think you owe. So we're going to get those numbers corrected for you as well.
You've got so many, Barry, tools in the bag that can help people. I know one of the areas I keep hearing about is this IRS Fresh Start program. What is that?
I kind of laugh about that. And, I always look at the IRS Fresh Start, and IRS wants your fresh money. That's what I look at it, and I hear advertising out there, oh, we've got the availability of this Fresh Start program. Well, we all have the availability of the Fresh Start program. That Fresh Start program was put in place by Congress basically to give you that fresh start, get more money coming into the IRS, but also offer you different solutions. And the solutions we've had, being that, you can do different things and have different ways of settling your debt, but they put it more into code and put limits on it and put, I would say, open the window a little bit larger to be able to qualify for some of the programs that they do have out there. But again, to me, it's the fresh start, fresh money to the IRS. You've got to use every single tool that's available out there to make sure that the IRS is lowering the amount that you have to pay or lowering the amount you settle for based on all the rules, regulations, and everything financially we can do or help you do to qualify for them as well.
Barry, you've told me so many stories about when you actually talk to these IRS agents, and it amazes me that you know more than they do about the tax laws, and like sometimes you even have to instruct them.
Well, it doesn't hurt that I'm older than almost every one of them that's out there, and I've been doing this since I've been knee-high to a grasshopper. So, and I train the enrolled agents that come in and work for me as well, and so we've got the best knowledge base out there, and my guys and everybody that works for me is better trained than a lot of those people that you're going to be dealing with the IRS. just this week, I probably hung up on 5 different agents because they had no clue what they were talking about and didn't want to listen to me. And I'm quoting the Internal Revenue Manual, chapter and verse to them. And they're looking at me, and I mean, you could tell they're looking at me through their phone going, what the hell is this guy quoting me for? Because I don't know it. You know, like I said, when the IRS is hiring people, they're hiring a warm body right now. No insult to the very smart and intelligent ones that work for the IRS. We're talking about some of these people that just seem to be phone answerers. And, you know, we'll get transcripts from them. We'll get other information that we need. Maybe we'll get a whole place. You know, a lot of times, some of these new people, I'm able to work them enough that if I do things the right way and quote enough right chapter and verse out of the Internal Revenue Manual, sometimes I've gotten penalties abated that they probably shouldn't have abated, which is really nice too. So you got to take the good with the bad. And, you know, when you're dealing with somebody like that and you know more than they do, showing your knowledge and the knowledge of the tax code that we have sometimes helps us to get those penalties abated that, like I said, they shouldn't have abated. You know, we've gotten some penalties, payroll taxes, not just the civil penalties abated, but all the penalties abated for a taxpayer that, you know, it's questionable whether we should have gotten them abated or not. But hey, the revenue person that was working at the IRS saw it my way, and they went ahead and abated close to $750,000 worth of penalties and interest. Really sweet. I mean, that's not a bad day's work, is it?
You know, Barry, we're on TV, we're also on radio, we're also doing a podcast right now, thousands of people listening and watching. And, you know, we get so many texts. I'm just looking at texts now. Great show, great topic. Here's one from, we want to say hi to the Clink Law Firm. But there's so many people who are watching you right now, listening to you right now. And, you know, even if it's a relative that's having a tax problem or a friend, do not let them handle this themselves. I mean, here we're introducing you to new people, Taxation Solutions, because Barry, what you actually do is you actually give these people a level playing field, because they don't have that if they're trying to handle this themselves.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, but it's not a level playing field. I've got the advantage. So,
but you make it a level playing field.
No, I tilt it into our favor because we know more than a lot of these people do. So there's no level playing field with the IRS. We've got the knowledge, and some of the knowledge is better than anything that they're going to have is the IRS. And I laugh and joke about that, but I mean, honestly, in some cases, it's absolutely true out there. We try to put the advantage in our clients' favor. Now, you know, I'll be honest, not everybody's going to qualify to use our services. Not everybody should use our services. And we will talk to people and tell them, hey, this is the reason that we can be of service to you. This is what we can do for you. And maybe this is the reason that we're not the right service for you. That, you know, hey, if you want to lie, cheat, and steal or tell us the wrong things and not give us the information, you're not the right fit for us, to be honest with you. If your tax debt isn't enough, or there's an easier solution for you to do it yourself and pay us, we're going to tell you that. You know, we don't want you to waste your money, but we do want to go to bat for you and help you. But, you know, we offer free consultation. So if you pick up the phone and you call us at 888-930-1019, we will be right there standing by to help you. And, you know, or you can go look us up on the web at taxationsolutions.net. And you know what, Steve? I just realized I gave the wrong phone number out. It's 1016. So it's 888-930-1019. 1016. See, that's what happens when you let the owner and the founder and the president of the company give out a marketing phone number. Always butcher something, out there. At least I got the website right, taxationsolutions.net. So I can at least type that part.
You've been going through all that tough weather in Houston.
Yep. But I fat fingered the number. So again, it's 888-930-1016. As soon as I said that, I was looking at the screen and reading that, I went, man, I really got this number wrong. And I couldn't figure it out, so I had to go look real quick. And now I just got a text from my marketing department going, are you just that bad? Yes, I am. As far as putting phone numbers up. But hey, feel free to give us a call. It's a toll-free call. It's a free consultation. Let's talk through your issues with the IRS. I've told my staff a long time ago that this is always a non-judgment zone, meaning we are not going to place any judgment on you whatsoever. We've heard all the stories before. If you come out with a really good one, you might even ask the experts, and I'll talk about it. But it doesn't mean we're judging you. It just means, hey, this is another one that is something different than everybody else has brought to me. Life happens. I mean, you and I have talked about it. Life happens all the time. And sometimes, life happens that you don't file tax returns and you don't file them for a few years. Life happens that sometimes you do file those tax returns and you owe a lot of money and you just can't pay it. Life happens that snowball starts rolling down the hill and it just continues to gain traction and more snow to it. Well, that's the same way the IRS debt works. Once it becomes a large amount, it continues to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's just the way it is. You've got to look at every single one of the options and options that are available to you. Not just from what they call the Fresh Start program, but, what are the options to take care of everything that I've got here to make this debt either go away, maybe non-collectible, maybe a payment plan, maybe a partial payment installment agreement, you name it, we've got to do it.
Barry, I got to tell you, I love one of the things you always say is your company is no judgment. Because a lot of people are embarrassed. And with your company, they don't have to be embarrassed.
No, not at all. I mean, it's not like sitting around the table with family or friends and having to say, I'm Barry Collar and I've got tax debt. No, we're not here doing that. We want you to come in and just say, hey, I owe the IRS $10,000. I owe the IRS $20,000. I just got an IRS letter that says that's final notice of intent to levy. What can you guys do? We can stop the IRS. We can stop that process. We can stop that levy. Don't come to me the day they levied and say, hey, can you stop the levy? We're not going to stop the levy, but we may be able to get them to refund the money, or we may be able to halt what they're doing. The levy already happened. They already pulled the money out of your account. It's just sitting at the bank for 20 days before they send it off to the IRS. Maybe we can run some interference for you and get that money back. Maybe you're in a small business and you owe payroll taxes, and now the IRS is coming after you for every one of those payroll taxes that you owe. And they levied your business account and your personal accounts and everything else you have, and you got to do payroll. There's ways we can stop the IRS, get that money back, to at least make your payroll right now while we're running interference to make sure nothing else happens to you. But I prefer to get in front of this before you even get into that situation. So if you know that you have IRS debt, whether it's for payroll taxes or personal taxes, call us, 888-930-1016. Yes, I'm trying to repeat this number because I got it wrong early. So we want you to pick up the phone and give us a call. Ask us what we can do for you. We'll have a lot of questions. So in this free consultation, we're going to ask you, how much money do you make? How much money do you have in your bank account? do you have investment accounts? How much is your house worth? How much do you owe on your house? Vehicles, any other investments or personal items that you own that are worth a lot of money, because, we need to know all that to be able to decide, do we do offer and compromise? Do we do installment agreement? Do we do partial pay installment agreement? Are you just non-collectible? And then we're going to do one of the best things that I love, and that is a complete transcript analysis. So not only do we just go in and get transcripts, but we're able to get transcripts that show all the records that happen at the IRS for you. So we know, hey, when are the statute of limitations going to run out on your debt? When did the IRS send you particular notices? Do they have a right to actually levy your bank account? Did they do things properly? And we're able to look through that and look through records that not everybody knows how to get, not everybody can get, and be able to do that analysis for you. I've got a client right now who owes upwards of about $150,000. So
Yikes.
we're stalling a little bit with the IRS because we have what they call CSETs, statute of limitations, are going to run out within the next 45 days. So we don't want the IRS to do any collection activity. We're keeping them at bay. We're going to watch almost 3/4 of that, if not more, disappear in 45 days.
Wow.
And so when it goes away, they're scot-free. It falls off. It's been to that 10-year limit. We verified that every single halt to the statute of limitations has been done correctly by the IRS so that we know exactly when that statute of limitations is going to run out. Not very many people know how to do that. We do. And that's part of the things that we do when we're sitting down doing transcript analysis. The benefit of that is we had to go back and look at this and know when those statutes are going to run out, because the IRS has those statutes running for a whole nother year beyond that. So we know that in the next 45 days, the statutes will hit. We'll get the IRS to write everything off and it'll be done. So it's going to be really a great deal for this client, just playing the game of waiting and us playing and knowing the field and how to defer things with the IRS. It doesn't affect the statute of limitations and keeps the IRS at bay. So it's a great deal when we get into doing things like that.
We just got a text in. I got to read this. Great show, Mr. Fowler. They don't say me at all. They say, great show, Mr. Fowler. I owe the IRS, which I'm embarrassed to talk about. But what I'm really concerned about is, can they come after my wife?
If you have filed together and joint return, yes, they will come after you and your wife. If you have filed separate returns, they won't come after your wife's earnings or W-2 income, because they can't. However, if you have joint bank accounts, those are open season. Has your social security number on it, it's open season. Now I'm going to give you a word of warning here too, is if you don't pick up the phone and call us, you should really watch out. But if you have kids and your social security number is on your kid's account, I don't care whether they're 529 accounts, I don't care if they're savings accounts or checking accounts for your kids. If your social security number is related to it, the IRS can come after every single one of those accounts as well. So just be aware of that. Many people don't talk about it. And, we've seen it. I've warned clients about it many a times, and we'll ask them about it when we're going through their financial worksheet with us. Is there any other accounts? Is there any other accounts that you happen to be a signer on or have your social security number on, whether joint or not? We need to know that information. And if it's not your account, you need to get off of it immediately. Because if the IRS comes in and levies that bank for your Social Security number, they're taking all that money as well. I warned a real good friend of mine about this, many years ago, and he lost every single dime, not just for his accounts. He had 2 kids that were in college, and they lost all the money that their grandmother gave them.
Oh,
They had another account set up with his mother, and he was on it, and they took all the money out of that account as well. Now, the good news is he knew me, and he picked up the phone and called me and said, hey, I've got this problem. What do we do? I was able to, he was able to hire us and bring us on, and we were able to talk with the revenue officer. We actually were able to get all the money back for the kids. We had to prove that the grandmother had given the money to them and everything, and it wasn't money he was hiding. We were able to get all the money back for his mother as well. And the only money that he lost was the money that was sitting in his own personal bank account. And it happened to be joint with his new wife, and her money was in there too. We weren't able to get anything back for her except for her recent payroll that had just run. And then he had some business accounts with his Social Security number on, and he lost all that money as well. Unfortunate part was he was a good friend, and we had been many places together and everything else, and he knew exactly what I would do, but he was too doggone embarrassed to actually just sit there and say to me, hey, Barrett, let's go talk over here and let me explain to you that I owe the IRS money. He would have done that. We would have been in front of that problem a long time before that. We would have never been in that situation. So when we talk about people being embarrassed, even good friends of mine have been embarrassed enough that they don't want to talk to me. Don't be. I mean, how much more embarrassing is it to come to me and say, hey, I just lost close to $200,000 between my accounts, my wife, my children, and my mother. You can't get any more embarrassing than that, I don't think. And that you didn't have the nerve to actually pick up the phone or even come in and see me or talk to me while we were out doing something together. Plenty of opportunities to do it. And it's not like you're trying to talk to family or a friend and they can't do anything for you. He was talking to somebody that could do something for him. But again, it's picking up that phone or going even to our website, taxationsolutions.net. Go in and fill out the contact information. We'll give you a call at your convenience and talk to you about what's going on. Again, no judgment. We're not going to be critical about anything that's happening. We understand life happens. Pick up that phone. It's free. It's a free consultation. It's toll free. You got friends or family anywhere in the country. I've got 50 offices around the country that I use to meet with the IRS, or we use for virtual appointments and stuff like that. Anywhere in the United States, they can pick up the phone and call us. We're here to help. We can help anybody, federal or state problems all across the country. But again, it takes you dialing that phone at 888-930-1016. Again, 888-930-1016 or taxationsolutions.net. If you don't have a tax problem, share it with one of your friends that may. If they don't, maybe somebody in their family does, and they just need the help. And a trusted advisor is the best advisor.
We just got another listener. This is a viewer watching the show right now. Wants to know, can the IRS find out about my winnings, and can I write off my losses? I guess from gambling.
Well, if you're a gambler, you probably got a W-2G, and that is a report of earnings. And especially if you earned or won a lot of money gambling. These casinos all have to report it. If you've won a lottery with the state, they've got to report it. That's why they get your Social Security number so they can make those reports. You can report your losses to offset the winnings, and there's specific processes to go through and do it. And certain ones you can write off or you can't write off. I love stories where I can relate things. And, we had a guy last year that came to us, and he won a lot of money at the casinos, but he was having trouble getting his information for the casinos. Whatever problem, he said he isn't allowed to go back in to the casino. So I don't know whether he was winning too much, losing too much, or what he was doing. But he had a lot of W-2Gs. And a matter of fact, he probably had close to 120 W-2Gs from 2 different casinos that he was going into. And, and he was quite upset that he wasn't able to take all of his losses and offset it directly dollar for dollar. And you report your W-2Gs on the 1040, and then you've got to report your losses over on Schedule A, and then you got limits and all these fun things out there that we get to do with them. But yes, the IRS gets a lot more information than you can ever imagine that the IRS gets.
Wow. Going back to the Fresh Start, Barry, who qualifies for that?
Well, the IRS has various programs. And so each of the programs has different qualification levels out there. So you, as an American taxpayer, are going to qualify pretty much across the board for one of the programs that are out there. Now, don't let people fool you. And, you hear the advertisements out there for the Fresh Start program, and people are going to tell you, hey, you qualify for an offer in compromise. Whether you do or not, they probably haven't even asked you the questions that need to be asked to qualify you for that offer in compromise program. And sometimes, I'll be honest, we've had people hang up on us because sometimes we're too inquisitive to find out if you qualify. And they'll say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not going through this. They already told me I qualify. Well, who told you that you qualify? Well, XYZ tax relief. Well, what did they ask you? My name, how much I owed. Okay, well, they ask you any other questions? Well, how much I make? They ask you anything beyond that? Nope, and I qualify. Well, I'm going over there. The IRS does a lot more than that. Yes, you qualify for something. They just didn't tell you what. You qualify to pay them for your pipe dream. It's that dream out there that says, hey, I'm going to be getting the whole holy grail of life, and all I got to do is pay them, and I'm automatically in. Well, that's not the case. The IRS has special rules and regulations to be eligible for offer in compromise, to be able to be eligible for the different programs underneath this Fresh Start program. So you kind of got to watch who you're going with. And then we get people come to us and said, I really wish I would have went with you because, you told me I didn't qualify for this, but now they want more and more money to put me through a different program, or they want more and more money to process this offer in compromise because that's not what they sold me. First off, you didn't read what you signed. And I tell everybody is, yes, we have a long document, read it. They have a long document, read it. It's there for a purpose. It outlines exactly what we're going to be doing for you and how we're going to go about it and what you need to do, go through and do. But read it before you sign it. Read it before you pay. Because once you pay, nobody's giving you money back. They're already started the process. They're already working down that avenue to do something for you. And every document that you read is going to tell you the exact same thing about, what you need to do, what the rules are, what the refunds are, all that fun stuff. So, read the document before you sign it. Don't sign something and then, cry because you spilt the milk and you're paying them an arm and a leg for something that they're not going to be able to do or can't do, or you didn't qualify for it. You chose that pipe dream. Hate to be that mean to somebody, but you did choose the pipe dream instead of actually going through the process of getting pre-qualified to say, hey, this is what can happen or can't happen, or what we can do or can't do for you.
Barry, I know it's really also very important that people are totally honest and upfront with you, because you cannot help them if they leave things out.
I use a really good example. I had probably one of the best deals I thought was going to be on the table anywhere. And we're very thorough in everything we're asking of our clients before we process an offer and compromise. But I mean, this guy, fit the perfect mold to have that perfect offer and compromise. And we had it out there for him, and he was probably going to sell for less than $100, and it was probably close to $375,000 that we were settling for out of $100 on $375,000. We got to the final stages. Now, you got to understand about the IRS, the biggest, baddest, worst collection agency in the whole wide world. I mean, if there's somebody that's going to find something on you, they're going to be the ones to find it. This guy, before he ever hired us, many, many, many years ago, inherited many acres of property, prime property, worth many millions of dollars. But because he says, well, it was an inheritance, he didn't think it was important enough to disclose to us. Not only that, not important to disclose to us, he sold to one of his kids part of this property, undervalued, of course, for close to $375,000.
Wow.
Cash. Now, we say cash, he meant cash. Had that cash sitting in his safe. And the IRS came back at the final stages and said, Mr. Fowler, what is this property he owns over here? We're showing it's worth multi-millions of dollars. No idea.
Did you feel foolish?
He's like, yeah, I had it. Didn't think they'd find it. Can't you hide it? There's A, no hiding it. B, nothing I can do for you. C, right now I'm trying to get the IRS from going after you for fraud. So my next job is to stop the IRS and go, yeah, he inherited it, but he thought inheritance didn't count as an asset. So I was able to keep him away from being fraud with us withdrawing the offer and compromise and turning around and setting him up on a full pay payment plan. And then at the next breath, as she was doing that, she goes, well, we also have this disclosure where he sold this property within the last year, since the offer has been there almost 12 months, to this person. Is this person related to him? Well, same last name. I would assume so. Well, that's kind of family-related sale, and where did this $375,000 of cash go? Man, we're withdrawing this offer. Can we please get it back and get done here as quick as possible? So, we talk about things being important. Yes, that is a huge, huge item. And, it's a funny story now, but it was very, very critical then.
Yeah, it probably wasn't so funny then.
And stuff. But full disclosure, and sometimes we mean even the little things. You just got an inheritance from your mom or your dad or family member or something else. We need to know about it. You have, if you have that signing authority on a relative's account, or your social security numbers on that other person's account, we need to know about it. They may seem like little things to you, but they're big things sometimes to the IRS, and we've got to stop it before we get to it. So, we want you to be fully honest. We want you to full disclosure. We need that in order to be able to help you and not be blindsided, when it comes to dealing with the IRS.
Barry, I I'm always looking at Google write-ups about different companies, and in the tax relief business, you see a lot of people writing letters like they told me they were going to do this, they were going to get all this money, um, that I wouldn't have to worry about paying the IRS, and it never happened. And I want to tell people I actually sent Barry, a really close friend of mine. That's how much I trust Barry. And Barry was so honest with her. He said, "There is nothing that we can do for you." Now, I would rather you tell me that than me to pay you a bunch of money and it not come through. So I love the fact that you are honest with people when they come to see you, not wanting to get their hopes up if you don't think there's anything you can do for them. So you don't just take people's money.
No, in that case, I remember your friend, very well. Um, in that case, we told her what she needed to do. It wasn't worth spending the money. It wasn't that we couldn't help her. We could have helped her. We could have put her in a payment plan and done it. But it was something that we could explain to her, and she couldn't get herself in trouble by doing it. And gave her the guidelines to go through and do it. And here, you're better off going and doing this. It's not worth you spending the money with us. And sometimes we've got to be in that situation and be smart about it. Not just for y'all, but for us as well. We don't want to do something that we feel that isn't worth it for you to do. There's got to be a cost benefit to it, and it's got to weigh in your favor. Is the way I always look at it. It's the same way we take our small business owners, and if we're talking about should you be a sole proprietorship or an LLC or S corp, we've got to weigh out the cost benefits of it. Some people will say, hey, you should always be an S corp so we could file your tax return and collect our money and do payroll and all this fun stuff. There are some things in life that cost you more than it's worth doing. And when you're in that situation, you've got to weigh that cost benefit out. We do that with our clients, as well. And it's the same coming to us for tax relief. Is there a cost benefit to it? Is it something that, hey, you don't owe enough money to spend the money to come to us, and maybe we won't be able to save you what you need. And then everybody's situation is different. You may be desperate and definitely don't want to deal with the IRS whatsoever, and it's worth it to you to spend the money to do this. We were able to explain to her exactly, what she needed to do, and she felt comfortable and wanted to go do it. That's the difference in dealing with us or dealing with somebody else. And when you get to Taxation Solutions, you can even check us out at the BBB. We're A+ rated. I'm very proud of that. We've had that rating for many, many years, and we stay accredited with them. So you can check us out over there. One of the things, Steve, that I wanted to kind of talk about with the Fresh Start program is the 4 different programs that is under that Fresh Start program. And, when you're sitting down looking at, what is the program? Well, it's not just about the IRS collecting as much money as possible. They do offer other programs in here, and those programs being, of course, that installment agreement, get as much as you can from the taxpayer. But we also throw into that, sometimes we can get them to agree to a partial pay installment agreement, meaning that within the installment agreement, you could have one where you're only going to pay a portion of what you owe. And sometimes that is better than the offer in compromise because, one, we can get rid of a lot of the debt, you'll qualify for it, and the debt will go away over a period of time, but you pay a much smaller amount, each month as you go. And then, everybody hears about the offer in compromise part of the program that many of these big tax relief firms across the country talk about. And all they try to do is scare you into this program and say, hey, we could settle for, oh God, I hate this, pennies on the dollar. When they start talking that way, I always always tell people to hang up the phone, but you can settle for less. And sometimes it is that, 1%, or sometimes it's $100, sometimes it's 10%, 20%, or even 50%. But everybody's situation varies depending on where you're at. One of the programs I sometimes like to use a lot, if you're in that situation and your situation isn't going to change, is a non-collectible status. Meaning the IRS, if your income is low enough, in the IRS's eyes, and you go through and fill out all the forms for it, it means they won't come after you to collect any money. They may look at it every couple of years, but if your income isn't changing, they're going to leave you in that status, and then you don't pay a dime on it, which is sometimes really nice as well. And it can sit there for as long as till the statute of limitations run out, and it goes away. As long as you got time, you're not sitting on a lot of money. The IRS can grant that status as well. And the last part about it is the penalty abatement. The IRS does have ways to eliminate penalties, and we do that many, many times. We're currently working with a doctor's office who now only owes penalties. They got themselves into a problem with payroll taxes. They hired a CPA firm to do their payroll and everything else. They never paid the payroll tax. They didn't file the payroll form for almost 2 years. As soon as they told the doctor and everything that what was due, the doctor immediately paid every single tax amount that was due, but was left with almost $200,000 in payroll tax penalties. So we're working with them to get these payroll tax penalties waived as much or abated as much as we can. Matter of fact, we've already started with this, and out of that, we've already abated a quarter of them.
Wow.
So, we've done very well in the 2 months that we've been dealing with them. Now we're going to be waiting on, hopefully, with reasonable cause and reasonable explanations, to be able to get, hopefully, all of it waived. We don't know where we'll end up being with it, because sometimes it's up to the IRS what they're going to do, but we will use every appeal right we have to try to get these things waived. So, those are basically the 4 things that the IRS offers you in that Fresh Start program. And, like I said, everybody qualifies somewhere in the Fresh Start program. Just don't let people fool you that everybody qualifies for an offer in compromise. I've got a client today who has supposedly friends, and you hear this, it's, we talk about, gas station or barbershop taxes. Everybody talks. Doesn't make everything real. Has a friend, he says, makes twice as much as he does, and he qualifies for the Fresh Start. Well, no kidding. He can qualify for the Fresh Start. Everybody qualifies for the Fresh Start. Well, no, you don't understand. He's on a really low payment. Well, A, you probably don't know what he's paying, because he probably didn't tell you. Didn't tell you what his tax was. He also didn't tell you that he's not married, or has more kids than you do, or has other things that you don't have that are applying to this to get him in that situation. Because every single person, every single client's tax situation is different. This guy just happened, hey, life changed, got married, got more income. He retired, getting pension and getting the other stuff. So, it's one of those things. But as you and I say,
we've only got a minute.
You can't start without knowing our number, right? Or calling us at 888-930-1016. We're thinking all right down the same lines. And it's taxationsolutions.net.
Barry, I love doing your show, because I know we're going to reach people out there who really need your service. Barry, have a wonderful weekend. Give everybody the phone number one more time.
888-930-1016. Again, 888-930-1016, taxationsolutions.net. Hey, give us a call. Let's get started. Hey, appreciate everything you do, Steve.
Thanks, buddy. Barry will be back with us again next month, last Friday of the month. Please tune in. Thanks for tuning in today. We appreciate all your texts and emails. Everybody have a good weekend. Take care. God bless.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.